No matter who you are or where you live, if your passion is hunting, then make your dreams come true. Join us on a great safari and adventure as we traverse 5 continents in search of world's finest hunting trophies. Join the best professional hunters in the world in search for the best trophy animals. You will experience unforgettable hunting adventures and international cultures that few people on Earth get to know. Share the thrill of the ultimate challenge to promote the sustained use of world's greatest renewable resources, wildlife conservation, and fair chase hunting. Feel the excitement, share the passion, join the experience of the ultimate adventure that this world has to offer. Let safari season take you there.
Greece, hunting ibexes at the island of Sapienza. In today's episode of Safari Season, we would witness the hunt of 6 hunters that would be competing for taking down the largest and only monarch of the island. For several seasons already, the Safari Season team had been successful in shooting the huge ibex, but no hunter was ever successful in approaching it at a one-shot distance. Such a clever and experienced animal, not by accident, survived so many hunting seasons in order to be living for 16 years already at the island. The next hunter we will introduce to you is one of the most famous and emblematic figures to the USA's reputation in the 80s. Let me introduce you to the last Marlboro Man. Today, we will witness the hunt of that icon that made the American way of life and the wild steppes of the Wild West so popular amongst the Eastern European smokers. What do you think you would catch? What's that?
It's a fish like a tuna. Yes.
As big as the boat?
Smaller. If we are lucky, we can cut something in this size.
It looks like 1 meter.
60 centimeters.
Today, 2 hunters would be hunting at the island, Rick and Mark. They have a TV show in the USA and their own operator who got a special permit issued in order to be able to step on the island. All fans of the exotic hunting adventures know the hunters and they follow their hunting broadcasts in the USA, Double Lung Outdoors. The island welcomed them quite dramatically, unveiling for them part of its treasure box even before making it to the shore. That's quite a good ram over there. Not bad at all. The hunters, together with their operators, were about to head in different directions. Maybe you've heard of the specific and sometimes absurd rules for hunting on the island of Sapienza, but whatever those that take advantage of them say, everybody knows bureaucracy does not follow common sense, so let us introduce you to them the way they are. Every week, from the beginning of November until the first week of December, there are 4 days for hunting Kri Kri, from Wednesday to Saturday inclusive. Each of these hunting days starts at 8 a.m. at the Methoni Quay, where together with the forestry worker and the hunting representative of the reserve and all hunters, we board the only officially licensed boat and head off hunting. Depending on our desire and the height of sea waves, the captain leaves us at one of 4 possible and selected by us small quays. We arrive at around 8:30 to 8:50 a.m., and at that time, the sun is quickly rising into the sky and lights almost everything on the island with its warm rays. Hence, ibexes are looking for the shrub shadows and rarely get unveiled at the peaks. Nevertheless, what you do not know is rule number 2, which says the hunt cannot continue after 2 p.m., which actually contradicts the generally accepted legislation throughout Greece. Yet the hunters do not have a choice and would have to hurry up in order to try hunting in the remaining hour or 2 before the sun makes all living beings hide. In Mark's hunting territory, yet there is a good ibex, and he, together with his hunting guide, would try stalking it. A little bit after the first ibex, a huge old man goes out. Most probably, it is following the one in front of him, but this is not the interesting part. That ibex is huge and probably the second biggest throughout the island, and surely bigger than the current world record. The size of its horns is impressive, and most probably it is 110 to 120 centimeters. This is a trophy worth climbing Everest. Nevertheless, Mark had to face much lower hindrance because even the highest island peak does not exceed 800 meters. Right after the ibex hid away, Mark's group headed towards the top. Their goal is to try following the animal from the great height and Mark shooting at it, if possible. The initial dash of immediately climbing to the top broke into the unmovable hindrance of thickly woven resilient branches. They scratch, tear, and push away all at the same time. A real obstacle that could not be overcome rapidly. Yet the initial plan was set in action and the hunter was about to climb the peak, no matter of the time and efforts it took. No matter how hard he was trying, Mark didn't stand a chance of making it to the peak in time. His time was limited. The pretext that the island is a reserve solely inhabited by Kri Kri and mouflons is being used by the forestry reserve to limit the afternoon stays here. Nobody can spend the night on the island, and the time during which hunting is allowed is narrowed from 8:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. 4 days a week if the weather is fine and there are no high waves, which hinder making it to the island by boat. All of these rules combined with the almost unpassable vegetation on the island turned hunting here into an exceptional challenge. The youth the monarch was after was getting back from there where we started an hour ago. Maybe we would get to see the large Kri Kri following it. Such an irony, isn't it? We had already made it to the ridge, but a deep and almost vertical canyon was spreading in front of us, cutting the mountain like a knife. Otherwise, we got an incredible panoramic view of half the island. From there on, we were about to observe the surrounding slopes. Nothing was moving around us, but along the pathway leading us to the lighthouse, an ibex passed us in the direction of the second group of hunters. Maybe they would be more lucky than us. The distance was quite large, but bearing in mind the speed at which ibexes were moving along the hidden pathways underneath the impassable thick shrubs, someone could get the chance of a shot.
About 400 yards down on the ridge from where the hunters are. Two of them, two rams. One's laying down, one's standing. 400 yards from the hunters.
In the ridge?
Yeah, right on the ridge, right on the skyline.
Exactly at that time, the hunters in the valley saw the mouflons, but they were following the ibex traces and didn't get impressed by the mouflons' unique trophy qualities. That group included the Marlborough Man. Just like the rest of the hunters that were present at the island that day, they were on a mission of finding and taking the monarch down. It's there. It's coming. Mark also saw the incredible miss of the hunter. Yet Mark could not have known how inconvenient the terrain was where the hunter attempted shooting. But Mark was more interested in what the third group was doing.
Oh yeah. Oh, he's got
With all that action, which Mark witnessed from the high peak, his nerves broke down and he decided to also relocate from his high position to the lowlands. There was still some time remaining, and if luck would back him, he was about to be thankful to join the hunt. Descending the peak proved as difficult, if even more difficult, than ascending it, and the time to sail away passed by. One hunter was about to signal the forestry workers to go check for a corpse of a trophy mouflon found at the shore. According to the Greek hunter who had found the corpse, its eyes were clear. The animal had been dead for not more than a couple days. The only hunters present at the island at that time were the ones led by the hunting guide Yanis, a person involved together with the notorious doctor in all kinds of unethical hunting practices and geshefts, even poaching at the island. The forestry workers got their irrefutable evidence of who might had shot and abandoned the wounded animal. The question was whether they would track him and punish him, or sweep everything under the carpet once again. Despite the unpleasant turn of things, Mark and the Marlborough man's bad luck, the day was great and successful to others. One hunter was getting back later than the rest because he had succeeded in shooting down a much bigger ibex. While he was dragging it to the quay, the boat had sailed away with the rest of the hunters. It was his triumphant arrival's turn at the quay.
Congratulations for good job, guys. Thank you. Really good job. Here.
What a great hunt this morning was safari season. We went to the island of Sapienza, and after 3 days of hard hunting, on the 4th day this morning, we finally connected with this great Kri Kri ibex.
The ibex were next to us in the bushes.
Who? The big one?
Really big one. The second biggest on the island, and it was about 2 meters, no more. And we hear it, so I said to him, shoot it, but he couldn't see it in the bushes.
We figured out why. These glasses get so dark.
We're gonna take 2 shots and see if we can get this target at 65 yards.
Safe.
We shoot shotguns quite a bit, but we shoot them at clay pigeons. Skeet, yeah.
This is the most unpleasant aspect to hunters. Shooting with breathtaking and smoothbore has nothing to do with shots.
Down.
Nope, same place. That's in the red, right? 2 o'clock.
No, it was 12 o'clock, red and yellow.
Oh, that's the center? In the center, yeah.
The shooting that our friends had been training was produced without using a bipod or tripod with a single goal, approximating the training conditions to the real ones at the island. We already saw placing the bipod costing Marlborough Man's trophy. Mark and Rick were about to be ready to react immediately and without delays to every emerging situation. They were ready to take down every trophy animal that had passed by because they knew what to expect. Even though there were ibexes on almost every peak by the pathway, the two friends would not be able to climb after them. Mark and Ricky were in one group, and that day the forestry workers, teased by the hunters' demand to find out who killed the mouflon found, decided to strictly adhere to the rules and make hunting by the two of them impossible. They could not be separated according to the rules described in the forestry rules. On the other hand, the neighboring group, in breach of the regulations and all safety rules, had arrived to the peak above them to scare away all ibexes that the group could have seen. That was a total sabotage of their hunt on behalf of the forestry workers. According to the terms and conditions set by the forestry workers, the two hunters should not get separated at more than 100 meters. That was a total mockery of hunting ethics, laws, and safety rules. The two of them were at one-shot distance because the employees had decided so. And, of course, Mark and Rick were about to take into consideration the words of the outwardly incompetent forestry representatives, or go away, or get eliminated if they break the rule. That day, the hunt was obviously to turn out more difficult and even impossible to the two friends. Their only chance of continuing hunting was adhering to the rules set by the forestry workers. After the day had passed, they were about to file a complaint in the Forestry Reserve and the ministry in charge of the island. Yes, there were ibexes literally everywhere, but our hunters were blocked with handcuffs and tied to each other. The only thing left to them was to observe the animals from afar and pray for some ibex to come to them. Finally, the nightmare came to its end, and all hunters in the group, following the letter of the law, headed for the quay. Can you imagine this group going around and shooting at ibexes? For some manager of the Forestry Service or minister could imagine it, they are more than welcome, so that we could shoot them in some of the following episodes. Here, at the quay, the saboteurs were waiting for us that had chased our ibexes away and even shot at aims to make sure all animals would get away. Nevertheless, soon everyone was about to get what he deserved, and we hope for the animals' sake at the island that all corrupted or incompetent employees get fired or punished for their wrongdoings. Until then, the team of Safari Season would be shooting everything happening at the island. We'd be shooting all the beautiful natural and historical sights to show the colorful and beautiful world of Greece's wildlife to all hunters around the world. Additionally, we would be shooting the irregularities and crimes that endanger the animals at the island and bring them to public domain, so that the Greek hunters and citizens can realize what is going on at their island because it is the property of the Greek state and not to several forestry workers. We resume our hunt the next day, ready for another dose of filthiness on behalf of the forestry workers, and get it almost immediately. Just that this time, the stakes are much higher, and we warn them that should they continue sabotaging the hunt in the same way, just like until now, we'll go away, but we'll go straight to the forestry minister. All of us. Scared by our anger, the forestry workers allow us to get separated at more than 100 meters, but remain in the same zone. Actually, the normal hunting practice that has been in effect for 10 years at the island. That was the clearest shooting situation we got so far. We missed our chance, and since time was advancing, Mark decided to try out his luck with the mouflons. We'd get back to the shore and we would try stalking some in the seaside zone when we usually see them arriving by boat. The sun is already basking, and we could surprise some Kri Kri in the forest. Hence, Mark is standing and is ready to shoot any time. The fresh mouflon traces warn us of animals' proximity.
Still alive.
Do you think so?
His head's still moving. He's dead now.
He's here.
Walked up on the hill up here on the mountain this morning, and we saw a real nice ibex and two ibex up on the two rocks, and then a mufla way up on top of the rocks. And the real nice ibex, he was about 65, 70 yards, and he wasn't positive which direction his body was, and about that time he was gone. He was there and then he was gone, but he was a real nice one. We stayed up there till a little after 1 o'clock, or right at 1 o'clock. Glass and nothing was moving, so we decided to come down where we landed this morning and walk out on this other point out here to see what we could see in this real nice ram. Stood up about 65 yards in front of me. I dumped him. We're gonna go pull him out of the brush here. And we're watching Double Lung Outdoors.
It's on video, maybe. We're just drug the mouflon out of the brush down here to the beach where the boat's gonna pick us up. We put a good stalk on it. It's laying down, bedded down in the brush, and it get up in front of us. Really proud of this. I've never killed one before. I'm just tickled it out. Watching Double Lung Outdoors.
This is the end of today's episode, and we approach the end of the first season of Safari Season. In our broadcasts, we've always tried showing the hunters the creme de la creme of the hunting destinations around the world. Additionally, Greece is among the best tourism and hunting destinations, and with our help and the assistance of our friends, the viewers, we hope to be able to make the change for a better future, for the sake of the hunters, the wildlife here in Greece, as well as around the world where they need us.